Okay, guys, it's June 18th, 2024. So as you can see, this house once again, it's
In her life, she
it's
walked away with $12.5
it's
million dollars
purchased by means which are lawful for my mother, my biological mother, Anita Phillip, and she's going to move to the United States mainland by the end of August 2024. So, so once again, August 2024. I did not mean August 24th. I meant August 2024 when I said that. But anyway. But anyway, yeah, it's June 18th, 2024, and once again, I'm going to write a work paper, and this work paper is going to be an Article 12 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So once again, I'm going to write a work paper, and it's going to be an Article 12 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And yeah, so I'm not going to get into any trouble. I promise you guys that. I'm not going to get into any trouble whatsoever. We are auditing and investigating. Actually, we are prosecuting Acon's investment. It's an investment company, cover for some of the federal agents who have been fired and who are seeking some sort of restitution for their lazy hard work. They were fired per the audit reports that I provided, and they just don't deserve any sort of retirement or restitution, but that's why they did what they did unlawfully. They were trying to get into my accounts. They did so unsuccessfully. Meaning there were no monies or resources or futures which were taken up by them or withdrawn by them or reserved for them. So they're just not going to have that privilege of getting any of the money which is going to be deposited into my bank account, my regular bank account, like August 2024 when I do transform officially and nominally into my corporate identity. My corporate identity is Khalid Sandiata Hassan. So once again, by August 2024, for the most part, or immediately thereafter, I'm going to be known as primarily as Khalid Sandiata Hassan. Is going to be my corporate identity, which becomes my primary identity, and my original identity, my birth identity, Shawn Dexter John, Shawn John, SHAWN, GOHN. That's going to become my secondary identity, more so my alias is going to become my alias. And I explain how I'm going to transform and what essentially the profile I'm going to look like, the biological, the physical profile I'm going to look like. I've detailed it consistently, or at least at times consistently, But yeah, this is not about bragging. There's nothing to brag about that, but I'm just telling you guys, I've worked so hard. I should be able to demonstrate to my household, my primary household, when I do reunite, as I will, with Rashida Williams, no matter what you guys say or think. And I'm not speaking of any lookalike. I'm not speaking of any quote-unquote lookalike or clone-like lookalike. I'm speaking about the real Rashida Williams. We are going to reunite. We're going to transform in the way that I've explained. And we are going to be completely exclusionary within our household, and you guys are just not going to be able to get to the point of enabling any separation ever again, as you guys perceived. So anyway. My particular household with her will be exclusionary, but I will be the fathering and partnering mail over to other households of mine, meaning the women that I do have children with. I honestly have almost 3,000 biological and genetic children, and a lot of these women have children with other men, preceding, having had a child or two with me, or even some, maybe one or two children after having had children with me. Actually, a few of them, actually one child after having had my kid. I don't recall any having two kids after having had my kid. But anyway, those were women that were rescued from a horrible situation, not just penned in a horrible situation. They were in a horrible situation and they needed rescue. And they just happened to be who I say they are when speaking of divinity and when speaking of divinity and speaking of myself clearly as Jesus Christ, as I am Jesus Christ. And this is not a skit, this is not a movie, this is not a script, this is not a play, this is reality. And I am dreaming into this world with my original daughters, 3,000 daughters, and they are my angels. They are the mothers in heaven of my 10,000 kids in heaven. And we dream into this world, and we always get to the point of meeting up for the second half of that lifetime, that life tenure, and to be able to raise government workers, intelligence agents, intelligence and security agents, and toward leading Earth into the next paradigm. And over the past 10,000 years, this used to be kingdoms and empires and things of that nature. But today it means the United States as lead in the world in taking Earth to the next paradigm of world government and pre-heaven. Okay, so that's what's going on right now. And yeah, I did take my shower. I'm going to have to brush, well, I did brush my teeth, but I'm going to have to brush it again. But anyway, I had some strawberries, so I'm going to have to brush it again. But anyway, yeah, I'm certainly going to have to shave. But yeah, it's June 18th, 2024. June 2024. June 18th, the year 2024. Okay? So hold on. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to shave very soon. I'm gonna shave my cranium. Usually I keep myself clean cropped when it comes to my to grooming my hair, grooming hair wise. So I'm gonna have to shave primarily my cranium, meaning my head, and I'm gonna have to shave my facial hair again. Well, not again, but I'm gonna have to shave it. For the first time today. I shave it every day. I shave my hair every day, my facial hair and the hair on my head every day. I'm not completely bald. I don't use hand, conventional manual shavers. I use electronic shavers. So even though I'm bald-headed, like I'm not, completely, skin bald-headed. I'm not Michael Jordan bald-headed, even though I'm a whole lot more proficient in not missing than Michael Jordan regarding what I do within my concentration, But anyway, my concentration of work and expertise and this and this, that was not necessary for me to have made. That was not necessarily a statement for me to have made. But it just came up when I said it. I just want you guys to know I don't have any shiny balded head at all, but I do shave. I remain very clean cut, and so I'm gonna shave. Yesterday I shaved. The day before I shaved. And so forth. So I'm gonna do my first daily shaving today. Yesterday I did my daily shaving twice, and the day before I did it once, and the day before I did it once, and so forth. I shave every day. I don't want you guys misinterpreting what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying it that way. Stop getting confused. Okay, guys? You guys are not getting me to the point of depression. You guys are not getting me to the point of going to any homeless shelter. You guys are not getting me to the point of buying a new house in Coral Gables, which is smaller than the house that I already have purchased. You guys are not going to get anything out of having been associated with me in any sort of way, directly or indirectly. I'm going to keep all of my money to myself and my primary household, and all of the money that I have reserved within the budget of the United States Treasury for my angels and my kids. They're going to be able to access that and have it on a monthly basis, and it's not going to be millions of dollars. They just want to be able to live middle-class lives and safe and secure. Nothing else, So But I want you guys to understand that there's just nothing out of this situation that you guys are going to be able to receive. I don't have any contract with anyone to provide them $40,000 or $10,000 or $5,000 or any of that. I don't have any sort of contract with anyone to do so. Okay, but I do have professional contracts to manage the United States government for a tenure of at least 30 years, and it began last year in November 2023. So I manage the United States government and its partnership. I also do manage the Central Intelligence Agency and INTERPOL peculiarly, and I do manage now officially. My contract is being provided, explicit terms, for the most part, as the special with me as the special manager and agent of Ameripol, or the special manager and agent to Ameripol, however you want to identify it. Okay. So I'm not an arrogant person at all. I don't deserve to be punished for being as competent as I am and proficient as I am and declaratory as I am. I was very aloof, very quote-unquote shy growing up, and while at college I was never a braggadocious person. I did not brag much at all. I was very, very cautious, and while I did my work, I did not brag at all. Okay, I want you guys to understand this. So don't say that I'm just, because I'm so confident and so forth, it just, it affects people the wrong sort of way, or it touches people the wrong sort of way. No, that's just not true at all. Please stop instigating hate toward my end. I cannot handle it. Okay, I have a lot of work to do. The United States government has a lot of work to do. We cannot focus on that sort of triviality. So I don't want you guys to understand this.
Some air conditioning in the library in the school, really not in the classroom. So he said they've been trying to move kids around, keep them on the lower levels where it's a little bit cooler, put them in the library, particularly if they're taking tests. But he said the thermostats in this school hit 98 degrees this week.
Oh, yeah, you cannot learn in an environment like that. At least school's almost out. Nikki, thank you so much. In the West, the heat is...
They're talking about summer school, okay? The schools in Syracuse, New York, and talking about the heat. They're talking about summer school, the first semester of summer school. I don't want you guys to ever fall for that trick ever again.
...are forcing evacuations in and around a native reservation. Our Carter Evans has more.
Nearly 8,000 people in the southern New Mexico town of Ruidoso are under evacuation orders after the South Fork fire grew by nearly 300% in one day to more than 5,000 acres with no containment. The town ranks second in the nation for a significant risk of catastrophic fire due to its thick surrounding forests. Further west in California, crews are fighting back the post-fire from the air and the ground. By last night, it had ballooned to more than 15,000 acres just 2 days after igniting in Gorman. And right now, the wind is a big challenge.
It is. We're in red flag conditions right now.
LA County Fire Captain Sheila Kelleher-Burko told us wind gusts topping 60 miles per hour paired with dry vegetation had made the fire hard to contain.
Battling steep terrain, low humidity, and some higher temperatures.
More than a dozen fires are burning across California. The Tuscany fire ignited in Palm Springs yesterday, temporarily closing the city's popular tramway. Up north, hundreds of people have been told to leave their homes in Sonoma County since the Point Fire broke out on Sunday.
I think we're going to see a greatly increased level of fire activity this year.
UCLA climate scientist Daniel Swain.
The good news is essentially that it's been wet the last couple of years, but that is going to be fading shortly as these conditions continue to rapidly warm up, dry out, and get windier.
Climate scientists say the fire season here in California, really in the Southwest, has so far been near average or perhaps even a little slower than usual. But because of the wet weather we had and all the fuel there is, it could last longer and potentially be more intense. Anne-Marie?
Carter, thank you. Boeing's outgoing CEO is expected to face some tough questions from senators today. This as new scathing whistleblower report alleges faulty parts may have been used on Boeing planes. This follows a series of safety and quality concerns, including a door plug that blew off an Alaska Airlines plane mid-flight in January. Chris Van Cleve has been covering Boeing for years, and he joins us now. Chris, good morning.
Well, good morning. This new complaint was filed with the Department of Labor last week. Boeing employee Sam Mohawk claims that his team at Boeing's 737 plant was pressured to cut corners in tracking parts that were removed from the production process after not meeting production standards. The new whistleblower complaint alleges when Boeing restarted production of the 737 MAX after two deadly crashes in 2018 and 2019, there was a 300% increase in reports about parts that did not meet proper manufacturing standards. And while those parts were supposed to be removed from production and closely tracked, the 737 program was losing hundreds of non-conforming parts. The whistleblower, Sam Mohawk, feared that non-conforming parts were being installed.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the news segment to actually reveal that it's June 18th, 2024. That's what I was waiting for, but I'm gonna have to, I guess, wait another minute or two.
Not speak up when it comes to its workers reporting problems. And that kind of retaliation is a recipe for disaster.
Boeing's outgoing CEO Dave Calhoun is expected to answer questions on Capitol Hill today and take responsibility for the door panel that blew out on the Alaska Airlines flight in January. Calhoun is also expected to outline steps. Well,
anyway, I guess I'm just going to have to wait here in the kitchen for the month. Timothy's going to have to do the dishes. He said he's going to do the dishes this morning, but he usually does it on time. But, he really does it on time, but, I want you guys to understand that Timothy is one of the security personnel here, and I promise you guys, he's just certainly not. He's not incompetent or anything. He's just a cover. In all honesty, so I have to speak to. He's actually Brad Pitt's father, and he's incapable of being a security personnel. He's a cover for the security that I do have here in the city of Orlando, Florida, for the time being. And Brad thought that I brought him over here to see that he was raised by a good family, so I should not impoverish him. Angelina Jolie, because I do have a kid with Angelina Jolie, and Brad thought that she bought my kid from some sort of online store just to be able to get charity endorsements and promotions and stuff like that. When he bought that, we said, okay, Brad, you might be a sick person to have actually bought that. Well, anyway. Brad's father is not a bad person at all, and he's going to refute that that's his father, but that's certainly his father. His father's quite bow-legged. He has knee problems, but he's healthy enough. He should be able to live into his 90s and so forth. Okay, that was quite hilarious. I want you guys to know that, that he actually thought that because when he first got after he broke up with Jennifer Aniston and so forth, after he was forced apart from her, and when he first got with Angelina Jolie for the most part, he saw that she had my kid, but it did not register. He just thought it might have been an Italian-American's kid or something weird. And when they said, well, Brad, that's a half-black child that she adopted from online, and then after the CIA agents ran into the room and said, no, that's Shawn, Dexter John's child in all honesty, and that's why she disappeared from the radar and this and this and this, because she's an angel from heaven. She's one of Shawn's chief's wives, not chief's wife. She's one of Shawn's chief wife, meaning myself being Shawn Dexter John. I want you guys to accept that shit. And it never works out the way Brad Pitt anticipates it. They said, well, why does he... This is what I was doing. Every time I'm around Timothy, I try sounding like his son every once in a while, but, so that he knows that I'm not out of my mind, and because he does remember me hanging out with Brad and explaining to Brad, you can't be that way, you're not a bad person, but you should have known. You saw her pregnant. There's no way you could have perceived that she rented a half-black kid and gave away her white kid to her parents, for money purposes, and you just can't believe that anymore. And he has given up on his argument. He's moved on with his life. Whatever Angelina Jolie decides, they still work together. They still live together, for the most part. But they're just not going to focus on that issue anymore. But I will meet with Angelina Jolie later on this year, and we're going to go forward with our contract. She's going to have 2 more kids with me, biracial kids. And it's just, in all honesty, and Brad is going to move to Montana and so forth and work with his dad. He has a lot of work to do with his dad. He's moved on from the relationship with Angelina Jolie for a while now. But he still lives there for operative purposes and so forth. So I'm not being crazy about that. I'm speaking of the white famous actor, Brad Pitt, who acted as Achilles, who acted in different movies and so forth. He acted in Troy, the movie Troy, and he played the role of Achilles and so forth. All right? So yeah.
Finally get a work permit and not be afraid that you are going to be deported.
No.
Do we have a timeline for when this may start
Immigrants
to
are not going to be
take
deported.
Yes.
There
the
were
White House
communication
says that
channels all throughout the country
this
threatening
program
immigrants and migrants that everyone was going to be deported out of this country, and it had to be, procedural as possible. No one has been deported, in all honesty. So we're just going to end the lies that we've provided to the White House, and the White House is completely in shock that no one ever gets deported. That's a secret Central Intelligence Agency, policy. Every once in a while, we do have actors from Mexico and elsewhere purport to be, deported, and but it's just to test the government and so forth, and to keep everything as silent as possible until we move toward open borders completely in 2049 regarding the Union of the Americas, which will be created in 2049. And I'm not lying about this at all. But anyway, as you can see yesterday, or over the past few days, the White House, the President of the United States of America, legalized the status of undocumented spouses for the most part.
Right.
And
before we let you go, I'm going to ask you about
so
something
you know
else.
for a fact that this is June 18th, 2024. Today, specifically, is June 18th, 2024.
Small black business owners. This time she's talking about gun violence, and she has a little bit of a celebrity with her, Migos rapper Quavo. What can you tell us
So
about
Kamala Harris has sold to, she has sold to Barack Obama that she's signed contracts with rappers to be able to assassinate me, because my kid, I showed up and I showed everyone what my kid with her looks like. And I told her, don't ever don't ever have anyone take a photo of my kid opening up his eyes to hide that he has my eyes and to hide that he's going to be 5'8" at most by the time he gets to his adult age, and stop reported him as malnutrition. There's something like that. That's clearly not Barack Obama's kid. They've worked hard to make him look like Barack Obama's kid at times, and they're just gonna have to let go of that. Okay. So I've spoken with Kamala Harris. She's not serious about any contract to assassinate any Shawn, Dexter, John or lookalike. She's given up on that. Relationship with Barack Obama is over for the most part, and she knows it. And she's going to move forward with me in raising our kid together. She's going to eventually move to Miami, and Barack Obama is going to have to move to Australia. He's going to have to serve out his sentence and his security detail. And when it's time, he'll be able to move back to the United States, primarily Hawaii. She just Hawaii. In all honesty, Hawaii specifically, the state of Hawaii, the island state of Hawaii. I'm not speaking of anything else. Okay? That relationship is over with, and he keeps saying I'm going to have to come into his house and no. Interpol and NATO, they're going to show up, and that's just the end of that sort of professional or romantic relationship, however you want to define it. Too many misguidance, too many bad advice, too many bad protocol guidelines. There's just too many mistakes, and I've detailed everything else having to do with his criminal approaches regarding the Ukrainian people and regarding Iraq and so forth. He was in a lot of trouble. I've worked with Interpol to be able to have him go to Australia and prove that he's competent as he says he is when it comes to human rights issues and when it comes to race relations. He's going to move to Australia for about a year or two, and he's going to work with the Aborigine community. Actually, yeah, for about a year or two, in all honesty, until everything is, calmed down. The threats against him calm down, and him having to serve his time, meaning his restriction order, will be fulfilled, and then he will be able to go to Hawaii, and that's where he's going to have to. That's where he's going to have to stay for the time being. And that sounds crazy to you guys, but this is top secret, confidential information, which is temporarily declassified. Eventually, these video recordings are going to be removed by the end of the year, by the end of 2024.
Yeah, crazy story. So this morning I'm at the Nissan Grill of Summer sales event, taking a test drive. When Dave, the sales guy, is like, "You're gonna love this."
Yeah, so you can see that everyone is preparing for the July 4th holiday season. The July 4th, holiday season commercial just showed up, and I'm not too sure if the video recording, this camera actually captured it.
Nissan offers 6 vehicles starting under $30,000. Like Road with 2.9% financing for 60 months.
ED has affected
But anyway,
confidence.
okay.
Says it doesn't matter.
It said only a delusional person will be able to believe that. And the photos and stuff of my kid with Kamala Harris having slightly slanted eyes and slightly a pointed nose like I do, and being of a short stature and so forth. And I had to request that she stop, straightening his hair, not straightening it, but she kept uncoiling it with perm, technology and so forth. I had to let her know that that's unnecessary. It's her decision, but I had to let her know that's unnecessary. And I'm gonna have to allow you guys to accept that without me having to force that issue on you guys. Okay, just accept it. Yes, Kamala Harris has been in an appropriation program with me, and she's been taking fertility pills. She's going to have another kid with me, and she's going to stop lying to herself. She says she has to see me walk into heaven first and get my 6-foot avatar, as I promised, half Native American and half black, and then she'll believe that I am as proficient as I said I am. And that I am who I am, and it's not just in her mind that she's dreaming into this world with me.
They're proving it as soon as they get out.
So that's the reality. She's one of my chief angels, one of my original 3,000 daughters in heaven, literally. Vice President Kamala Harris, she's one of my chief angels, one of my 3,000 angels. Okay? And it's not because she's Jamaican American. It's not because she's purported as Jamaican American, falsely or accurately. I'm telling you guys, it has nothing to do with that. Okay? So, and she's not white, and she's not moving to any white planet. All of the silly stuff that they were saying. She's just not part of any of that because I said so. There's nothing else to try to figure out.
South Korea's military says it has fired warning shots after North Korean troops temporarily crossed the rival's land border. This is the second in just this month. Soldiers.
So this is what's going to happen. Manhattan and Moscow, they're going to submit to the NATO staged events, as I have detailed. Moscow and Manhattan and Moscow, M&M, Tsar bomb and equivalent, and the American equivalent. Essentially, that's what I've explained this before. And South Korea, North Korea, they're going to go at war. They're going to be at war very soon. And so Pyongyang is going to be attacked, and Seoul is going to be attacked. And it's going to be nuclear war, per se. The missiles, for the most part, are going to be nuclear. The initial attacks by North Korea and so forth. In China and the United States, they're going to have strikes on Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles and downtown Beijing for the most part. This is going to transpire over the next year or so, but more immediately, Manhattan and Moscow, as I have detailed, and Jerusalem and Turkey are going to be at odds, and Turkey is going to attack Jerusalem, and Turkey is going to attack Jerusalem. Everything is going to be staged all over the world by INTERPOL and the United Nations for the most part. But Turkey is going to attack Jerusalem. and Jerusalem is going to attack Turkey, and so forth. And yeah, the United States of America and NATO specifically is going to conquer all of Eastern Europe for the European Union. Moscow, the Kremlin is going to fall, and Caracas is going to be struck by the United States military. It will no longer be a threat to CARICOM or the Secretariat in Guyana, Secretariat of the Caribbean Community in Guyana. Venezuela will no longer be a threat to it, and Haiti will be struck by just a building or two, government building or two, just to broadcast that or to communicate that the standing government is no longer in power, that the Constitution is going to be reinterpreted or interpreted competently, and so forth. So and CARICOM is going to be able to aid with that process. In Cuba, there's going to be a standoff. In Cuba, there's not going to be any real war in Cuba, but the parliament in Cuba will procedurally declare Cuba a democratic state and will announce official and popular democracy, representative democracy all throughout Cuba, and American-like democracy for the most part. And so this is going to transpire over the next 2 years or so, 2.5 years, but it's going to start off with Manhattan submitting to what we perceive as the Tsar bomb. It's theorized as being real, but it's actually real. And I've explained the interdimensional realities which are top secret, temporarily declassified by me, and so forth. And then Moscow, and yes, the White House is going to be demolished, most certainly by NATO, and it's going to be reconstructed into more of a modern building. And Barack Obama is going to fake his death, and Kamala Harris, she's going to fake a death, and July 5th and all of that. A lot of stuff surrounding that. Okay, so that's the reality. And Michelle Obama, is going to fake. She's going to fake a death also, and so forth. So I promise you guys these things. All right. So I do have a kid with Malia Obama. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure of it. But if I say that, it'll appear as if I'm instigating some sort of factional, conflict. But no, there's no factional conflict. I'm pretty sure I do have a kid with Malia Obama. And if she was joking around, then that's okay. I'm just gonna have to keep everything secret, as if I believe in jokes. And for security reasons, I'm gonna keep you guys guessing on that. But yeah, all right. So that's the reality. Okay, guys.
Escalation with Hezbollah could lead to a direct confrontation with their backers, Iran. Remember, back in April, Iran launched hundreds of drones and missiles at Israel all at once. It was the first time Iran directly attacked Israel. The Iron Dome defenses largely protected it, but the U.S. is warning another attack could be bigger.
Yeah, so that's what you guys are going to